Mayor Suarez's steadfast leadership and commitment in the field is impressive. When I had the chance to meet with him in his office recently and hear about his vision for digital assets and its role in innovation and competition, it was infectious. And you really do believe that leaders like Mayor Suarez are really leading the future. So this is our opportunity to hear more about his vision of utilizing digital assets and Web 3.0 as the future of local innovation as well as national innovation.
There was a point at which it seemed like Miami Coin was really going to take off and could constitute a large portion of our revenue. It did generate about $7 million for the city, $5 million of which we set aside for a housing stabilization fund, so to address housing issues and concerns in a rising housing market. What remains to be seen is how these continued technologies and sort of variations in these technologies are going to benefit the public sector. I think that the idea was a good idea and is a good idea, and I think we're going to continue to see ideas come out in the future that will potentially have the same public benefit. Our laws have a tendency to be very reactionary, right? Something happens and then we react, as opposed to being proactive, which would have been great. And we saw this happening. We saw the mainstreaming of digital assets happening right before our eyes over the last 12 to 24 months, and our government did nothing. The lack of regulatory certainty hurt the country because it didn't allow for this ecosystem to grow in an appropriate fashion. It was growing outside our borders in an inappropriate fashion, in many cases with our money, and much to our detriment. At the end of the day, this is really digitizing currency and taking it outside of the mainstream fiat system. And why is that important? Well, we see why it's important. We see what the Fed is doing right now. We see what's happening with inflation. We see what's happening with the debt ceiling. I mean, those are three perfect examples of why there is a potential need to have a currency that sits outside of that system. There's massive amounts of manipulation, massive amounts of politicization of the process, which is very worrisome with tremendous implications.